My name's Vanessa. I go by Vanessa Rosalee or V. I'm 22 years old, and today I am looking forward. Honestly, I have therapy later, and I'm actually excited because we're really digging into some of the stuff I've gone through as a child. So I'm looking forward to another session.
That's really cool that you're, like, open about therapy like that. I know sometimes people think it's, like, super tough to speak
Yeah.
about it, but I'm like, "No, be free." Is that what you're kind of, like,
Right.
studying?
No, I'm a sociology major, but
Okay.
I love psychology and all things therapy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very, very cool. Okay, so I know you go to UCLA. Do you have, like, certain obligations that you kinda do every single day or set to a specific routine?
Not necessarily. My classes are remote because I'm living in San Diego and I'm
Okay.
finishing up remotely. So kind of just go with the flow. Yeah.
Nice, nice, perfect. Okay, so I guess, like, my next question is, outside of, like, the things that you feel like you have to do, like school and stuff like that, what
Mhm.
is something that you really enjoy doing just for yourself?
It's a great question. I love walking and getting in the sun. I love to hike, get my heart rate up, but I'm not a runner, so I can't do like too much. But hiking, walking, and being in the sun really help me to just stay calm and like regulate myself.
And you live in San Diego, so what better way
Right.
to enjoy
Right.
Okay, perfect. So, kinda switching gears a bit, tell me about an accomplishment or, like, a personal project that you've either worked on in the past or are currently working on that you feel like you're really proud of, and
Mhm.
why?
The first thing that came to mind, probably one of the biggest accomplishments I have, when I was 16, I studied abroad in Italy for 9 months, as a foster youth, and when I was there, we had a capstone project that was required for about 6 months for us to work on, had to involve the locals, and we had to present it in full Italian. So I studied the foster care system in Italy, and it's completely different than the US. I got to speak with a lot of the, it's more like orphanages that they have out there instead of foster homes, and I got to speak with a lot of the staff in Italian and a couple of the youth, and I put together a really beautiful video of what family means to those in Italy when you don't have, real family, and, yeah, it was a great experience. It was really cool to incorporate my own experience in the US as a foster youth with Italy, and the language barrier and all that was great. It was great.
So, like, you're telling me you speak Italian fluently now? Or
I do.
that is so cool. So did you, like, know a little bit prior, or you fully just immersed yourself and
Mm-mm.
learned?
Yeah, no, my father is Italian, although he was never in my life. So I have the roots and my
Yes.
last name's Italian, but I
Yeah.
never spoke it, so it was just
It
Spanish.
it just
Yeah.
needed to be activated when you went.
Right. Right.
So cool, but also
Yeah.
such a beautiful way to, like, incorporate, your life into a
Mhm.
completely different country, which is
Right.
amazing. I absolutely love that. Um,
Thanks.
okay, so I know you mentioned that you're studying sociology.
Mhm.
So when I ask you what does education mean to you, what would you tell me?
I would say that education is a platform for students to discover their voice and their passion, and really an opportunity for youth to create their own path. Mhm.
Perfectly said. Do you have a topic or a skill that you really, really wish was taught in majority of, like, either high schools or colleges that isn't?
Ooh, definitely more trauma-centered classes or focus. I think we all have trauma, and it's not talked about enough, like you said, with therapy, so trauma.
That would I would take that class 100%.
Right. Right.
My first list. Um, okay, perfect. Tell me about someone who you feel like has left a large impact on your life and why. You can be as detailed or as vague as you want.
Great question. Mm, well, my partner, I guess I would it's kinda like I'm biased a little bit, but even before I was with my current partner, we have totally different backgrounds, even though I was in foster care. I'm from California, so I have access to a lot more resources. My partner is from, like, between Wisconsin and Chicago, doesn't have as many resources and didn't growing up. So when he came to Los Angeles, he was homeless for about 2 years, and as a man was sleeping on the street and in the tents. He was only like 21 years old. So knowing him, seeing, that he has the same passion as me and same determination to make something of himself, but didn't have the same resources, really changed my mindset with like how much more I can be doing outside of education. Even though it's a great platform, there's still so much more that I can do.
Sorry. Um, you you mentioned like your passion. What exactly is that?
The youth, really advocating for the youth. Yeah.
Do you have like a specific job that you want to go into, or make your own organization?
Yeah, you hit it on the nose. I want to make my own.
Oh,
Mhm.
so nice. Well, if you need any help, I'm taking my
I got
master's
you.
in nonprofit management. So if you need any help,
Nice. I
yeah,
will get your contact information.
yes, hit me up in 4 years.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I mean, you kind of already answered this question, but if you want to go kind of more into depth, or if you want to pick a completely different one, the question is, do you have a particular social cause or what's the actual question? Like cause or like social issue that you're super passionate about, and why?
Yes. Well, there's two. I think homelessness is the first one that comes to mind, but more than that, I think food insecurity and the lack of nutrition that is provided in communities. As a youth growing up, I didn't know how to really feed myself or eat well in all these foster homes. I was really just eating what I was given, and I had a really hard time learning how to cook for myself, grocery shopping, and healing that relationship with food. So food insecurity would be my main focus.
That's two very great social issues. Do you participate in any? Because I know we have like a lot of programs in San Diego, Feeding San
Hmm.
Diego, things like that. Do you participate in any of those programs, or are you just more of like a observer?
Yeah, before college, when I was living in San Diego before school, I was in a lot of the food banks, and I would feed a lot of the elderly at the homeless shelters. So for
Yeah,
volunteer hours, it was required, but it was a great experience either way.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I my next question is, um, what is a challenge or like a series of challenges that you feel like have you've either worked through them or currently working through them, that have shaped you to who I'm speaking to today?
Ooh, could you repeat the first part of the
Yeah, so
question?
it's like what challenges have you kind of gone through in your life that
Mhm.
have shaped you to who I'm speaking to today?
Well, other than foster care, because that's the most obvious, the more personal issue I've had to go through is self-esteem and feeling comfortable in my own body. I feel like a lot of the trauma left marks on my body, whether it was through weight gain or scars. A lot of physical marks were left on my body when I aged out of the system. So it was hard for me to feel ready to like face the rest of my life in a skin that I wasn't fully comfortable in. So I had to go through a lot of mental work and then also physical work, exercising and healthy eating. So still working on it.
You mentioned such a it's like a thing I constantly think about, the aging out. Is that kind of what you is that more of like what you want to kind of target when you get to a position in your life where you're able to kind of fully give back those people who kind of age out of foster care, or do you want to focus more on those who are currently in foster care?
That's a great question. Honestly, everybody. I think we're all aging out in some way, shape, or form of something. But definitely the youth that are aging out for sure. I would definitely have a specific, like most of my resources would be for them for sure.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I guess my very last question is, obviously, in life, there's a bunch of challenges that everyone goes through. And just based off of what I've heard from you, you've gone through a lot being so young. Um,
Mhm.
if your younger self could hear one important piece of advice, what would that advice be?
Honestly, I would tell her that she has everything she needs already, that it's all mental and it's all internal. And if anything, I would actually ask her what I need to hear because I think she was a little bit more wise than I was. You know, kids just have this internal like confidence or they know that they're good, and it's not until they get into the world that they start doubting themselves. Probably just would have listened. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I that's beautiful. I think the world has it's so good at kicking us,
I
when
know.
where we
Yeah.
really don't need to be kicked. I was
Mhm.
good, and then you put me down. Now I don't know what to do with myself.
Right.
But that's very well said.
Mhm.
I kind of wanted to open the space because I feel like I'm super your story is super interesting and inspiring, and I kind of just wanted to open up the space for you to share some more if you want, or
Mhm.
if you wanted to talk about something in specific that we didn't cover. Just kind of wanted to open the stage.
Okay. Thank you. And great questions, by the way. Those were very personal and like in the moment, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, we try
Mhm.
to not make them too uncomfortable to answer,
Right.
but enough to where we can grasp as much as the importance of your story.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. You did a great job. I think the only thing I would share would be more of like an overview of my time in foster care. So I was born in 2002 and straight into homelessness. My mother already had two other children. And as a Black woman, she was a single parent that didn't really have a lot of resources. Before she had me, she had suffered from a brain aneurysm twice and never really properly healed from that, never encountered the medical system the way she should have as a Black woman. So by the time she had me, I was born into a lot of chaos, a lot of um, just like instability, I would say. My mother was a great parent in terms of pouring into me and saying that she loved me and I was strong, but she didn't have enough resources. So I was born into homelessness. And for the first 5 years of my life, witnessed a lot of things that I shouldn't have seen. Was really quiet, more of an observer than a speaker. And by the time I was 8 years old, I was placed into foster care with my older brother. We were split immediately. So I was on my own at 8 years old. And I lived in 12 different placements from 8 to 21. So I lived in a lot of homes. I've lived all over San Diego with rich, poor, Black, white, Asian, Mexican, all kinds of people. So it's made me a people's person. I mentioned how education was my foundation for success. I went to Italy when I was 16 and got into UCLA. I went to the bishop school. So I've always had very like strong determination. And like you said, life has always had a way of just kicking me down. But yeah, education has always been my main source of strength. So that's just the overview of kind of some of the stories.
Yeah. No, I think you started off in such a place where a lot of people would have just like given up immediately.
Hmm.
But just from everything that you've said, you you going to Italy, you going to I know Bishop's, it's a wonderful school. So the
Hmm.
fact that you got to have that experience, you now go to an insane college. It's like you in a way it's like it's so easy to look back on your life and be like, I could have, had a,
Yeah.
easy upbringing. But then you look at everything that's going on, it's like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
I can't even say anything about it.
that's
Um,
true.
do you I guess I kind of had a question. Do you like look back on your times and you're like, wow, I really am grateful that I learned that one thing. And what would
Mhm.
that one thing be?
Ooh, that's also a great question. Mm. Honestly, like I mentioned with my weight, I'm grateful that I've experienced weight fluctuation because as a young woman, it's so easy to look at media, social media, and assume what your body should look like. I'm just happy to be alive at this point and happy that my limbs still work and that I can find outfits that, I fit into and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm actually grateful that I went through that at a young age so that I can prioritize my health even more at this point.
Yeah. I think it's a
Mhm.
great thing how you've like shifted your perspective to
Thank
be like,
you.
regardless of all
Appreciate
the
it.
hell that I've gone through, you're still smiling, you're still happy, and you're still progressing in life. And that in of itself is an accomplishment.
Thank you.
So be proud of yourself and always be confident in the woman that you are today.
Thank
And
you.
I have no doubt that you will be. wonderful in the future,
Thank you.
even more than you are now. And it was my pleasure to hear your story. I
Thank
loved
you.
it. Very beautiful. You're also very well spoken.
Thank
Um,
you. You're just hyping me up. I
no,
appreciate it.
because you really should be, and it's
Thank
but
you.
sometimes people aren't told these things enough,
Mhm.
and I love to reiterate it to them, even
Thank
if
you.
you are essentially a stranger to me. But just from this brief interaction, it's very clear, like the personality that you have, the soul
Mhm.
that you have, and it's a testament to the life that
Thank
you've
you.
lived. So amazing job.
Appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
of course. I hope that this was an enjoyable process and it was
Mhm.
comfortable. I know we do ask personal questions, but I hope that you kind of look at it and you're like, "Oh, this was fun. This is a conversation. I got
Yeah,
to."
this was great. Didn't even
Yeah,
feel like an interview. It was just a
good.
conversation. Yeah.
Hey YouTube! If you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!